Okay, so this is some quick interpretation for this cool little technique that shows up across several sources that reference Wallerstein. So it's based off of Wallerstein, 8 verso for the longsword, and then 30 verso for the falchion or one-handed technique. So it's easiest, I think, to learn it one-handed first, and then you can learn the two-handed version. The one-handed version works like this. So the guy cuts in, and what you're going to try and do, there are different ways to get into this, but the biggest thing is to get the overwrap. And in a situation where you're like a hanging parry, you're going to not go underneath, but you're going to go over. So you're going to go over and actually wrap here. And as you do so, also come underneath and tighten it here, okay? So that's basically it. If you look at the pictures, one version seems to have sort of just the back edge against the guy's neck. Some other versions actually have sort of a long edge against the guy's neck, and the hand's been turned a little bit strange. But you know, whatever, no big deal. So that's the one-handed version. Okay, so the two-handed version now, very similar. The setup in Wallerstein is basically, you're going to bind, I thrust to your face, he winds up in response, and one of the techniques from here is to actually go and cut to the elbow. So once you do that, you basically have a hanging parry situation, and again, you go over, not under. That's sort of the novel part of this technique. You will go over to get the overwrap. As you do so, triangle here, and then finish to here, and see how I'm sort of coiling my hands together this way? It gives me the clearance to get in here, and then as I pull it together, I lock him as I secure the overwrap. Also notice the leg placement. So this is sort of the ideal position. Now, the other thing is, as I do it, I actually have two choices. I can either come in here in front of the hands, which is easier to get, but is sort of less secure, like the pressure is really just against the sword here on his neck. The other option is to come here and come this way, much more secure, but harder to get. You have to get in deeper. Okay, so basically this guy versus this guy. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about different variations of this. So again, I've come to here, I've overwrapped to here. So one of the variations is just to finish this. So from here, I can simply, basically go backwards. Okay. The other option is on the way there. Sometimes as you do this, you might not get the clearance to get all the way through, and you whack it in the head. Right? So you can sort of thrust it in the head. And that's another variant that gets shown in the Berlin manuscript, for instance. So those are two variants. And then the final variant I'll come back to, and I think it's actually a response to the two counters that we're about to see. Okay? Okay, so as the Germans like to remind us, no technique in their system is sort of counterproof. So here are two counters to this technique, as nasty as it is. So if we get back into it, I come here, and I get to here. Even when I have this on his neck, the principle is get the pressure off the neck, because that's the biggest thing. So both these start the same way. So number one, he gets here, gets it off his neck, wipes it away, and then basically grabs his own sword and gives me an arm bar, raising my elbow back here with this arm, and then pressing down forward, and yeah, there we go, that's bad. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is from here. Yep, again, he takes pressure off with the other hand and comes forward, gets behind me, and with his leg behind me, he turns me and basically throws. Okay? So both of those work just fine. We're going to do it again from this side so you can see the picture equivalence. So from here, okay. Okay. And stop. So the picture should look more left off. Sorry. There you go. Yeah, more like that. There you go. So that's really picture. Okay. And go and throw. All right. And there you have it. There's two counters. Okay, final variant. So this one is what is illustrated by Rast in roughly 1535, and I think it's almost, I think he's sort of saying, why make it so complicated, especially since it could be countered sort of nastily those two last ways. So what he does is this, he doesn't bother overwrapping and going in all the way down to here. What he does is from here, he just overwraps to here and pulls to here. Okay? And so what it does, it takes away those two counters that he can do. So, you know, if he tries to reach behind, he's going to get skewered. And then he also doesn't have my sword to sort of press against me. So this is, you know, this is sort of like a nice practical way to control the sword while threatening. So, and that covers all the various references to this particular technique.